Hi there. I'm here with Allie Zeff, the Executive Director for Detroit Jews for Justice, coming to us from the D. How are you, Allie?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Really excited to talk about your work. So for those who don't know, Detroit Jews for Justice organizes the Metro Detroit Jewish community to participate in movements for racial and economic justice. Can you tell us more about what that community looks like and what your strategy for that work is?
Absolutely. So DJJ is made up of an active core of about 100 to 200 Metro Detroit Jews and folks who like to hang out with Jews, is what we like to say.
We love
Um,
those folks.
right, we love them. So we're an intentionally intergenerational community, which makes like a gathering of DJJ leaders a really beautiful sight to see. I'd say that our core membership ranges in age from 3 months to 80 plus years. And we really have leaders in between. We're also like a racially and culturally diverse group of folks. We bring a huge range of experiences of Jewishness, of activism, and how those two things relate to each other. I would say our strategy is to activate, agitate, and educate the Metro Detroit Jewish community so that they can better participate in Black-led movements in Detroit. So this can look like long-term solidarity and relationship building with coalitional relationships that exist, one-to-ones, action support, just being there for the groups that are on the ground and showing that like the Jews of Metro Detroit are here to support. We're not here to direct the strategy. We're not here to lasso what's going on, but we're here truly in a coalitional and solidarity role. It can also look like internal education. So we're learning about, as a community, anti-racism, what it looks like to show up respectfully in coalition. It can look like hitting the streets, canvassing, marching, turning out to actions. It can also look like sitting in boring meetings and taking notes and giving those notes to our partners so that they can better strategize for their campaigns. And I think a big part of it too is like leveraging the power of our community, activating the folks in our personal networks of Jews to get on board with Detroit movements. And I would say like that the last piece of our strategy is really like about nurturing our growth and sustainability spiritually. So we have really beautiful activating cultural events. We have an annual Purim celebration that's like themed around a different justice issue. So we're really trying to create a place where Jews come in the door because they want to throw down with movements in Detroit, and they stay because we have really fun parties and we're really cool people that they want to hang out with and keep seeing. So yeah, that would be our strategy.
Yeah, well, speaking of those awesome opportunities for people to hang out, the holiday of Passover is coming up, which is a holiday that celebrates the liberation of Jews from enslavement in Israel. And I think it's also a sort of holiday that lends a sort of Jewish value to progressive activism, which it sounds like you're really talking about connecting in your work. So just really directly, what are the core Jewish values that inspire your work?
Love this question. The biggest one for me personally that I keep coming back to in this work is the idea that we are all made in B'Tselem Elohim, the image of God. And I feel like this concept plays really beautifully as a core value of mine. And this idea that my liberation and the liberation of the Jews is tied up in the liberation of all people. So that concept really drives me personally, and I feel like is a major ethos of our organization. It makes this work feel like the absolute most important way that we could be spending our time. And in order for any of us to get free, we all have to get free. All those feelings really bubble to the top when I think of Pesach and this season. So that's what really drives me, and I feel like that's reflected in our community.
Awesome. Well, and how about Passover specifically? What have you all done to commemorate Pesach in the past? And do you have anything exciting coming up this year?
Yeah, Passover is so loaded with themes that are totally central to our work. I'm looking back I mean, we've done a lot. Since the pandemic, we've slowed down during Passover intentionally. But looking back at like 2017, this was the first time that we had this holiday after Trump was elected, and a group of dedicated leaders put together an event entitled "Let My People In," and it was a benefit for Syrian refugees. We prayed together. We distributed immigrant rights focused Haggadah supplements that were created by our community, and we heard the music of Daniel Kahn, and we danced and we sang and we raised money. So that's a really big, strong memory of like a core memory of DJJ's Passover approach. And you know, every year we're trying our best to connect the movement work that we're already doing to Passover, but that's a big memory. Last year we did an AAPI. We had a space to process some of the anti-AAPI violence that we had been seeing, and kind of talked about this concept of the narrow space. So yeah, it's definitely a through line for us.
I absolutely love the name "Let My People In." It's a great way to really connect kind of the Jewish theme and the movement work that you're working in. So, as we've talked a lot about the history of Jewish liberation, with Passover, one thing about Detroit is that there are a lot of different communities with a lot of different rich histories in the city. How does that city's history inspire you to take on this work? And how do you all engage the broader Detroit community in your activism?
Yeah, you're right. Detroit is an incredible city with a really inspiring history of collective action and power building. Frankly, in the face of divestment, in the face of oppressive systems coming to like a serious head in this particular place. And this question of like how the city inspires us to take on this work is like, it feels like we're just picking up the mantle of the work that has already been laid out before us. And I kind of see DJJ as a bridge from the broader Jewish community to these existing, thriving, visionary activist spaces that are living in Detroit. So everything we do is in the service of strengthening that, adding capacity to that, and building relationships in Detroit, in that organizing community. So I see like engaging the broader community in our activism is actually like we're engaging our broader community in this amazing activism that's already happening. And we're trying to figure out a way to do that that's thoughtful and respectful and like reckoning with all of the dynamics that can come up when we do that.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me about a win you all had in the city.
Wins, we love them.
We love wins, we gotta go into that, I gotta ask.
Absolutely. So
there's so much awesome work, right? There's got to be some W's in there, and some numbers in the wins column.
Yeah, I love that. I think there've been a lot, and in the past couple of years, there have been like some huge ones. We've seen a moratorium on water shutoffs for non-payment, a moratorium on evictions, and all as a result of organizing that's happening in Detroit. My favorite one that I love to talk about took place in 2018. There was a national call that went out, I believe from Ben the Ark, to hold Tisha B'Av actions across the country for immigrant rights. And so we took action along with the Council of American Islamic Relations, and we held an amazing action at the Dearborn Police Department. Dearborn is a neighboring city of Detroit, and it's majority Muslim. And our demand was that the Dearborn Police Department end their contract with ICE and stop detaining immigrants on their way to deportation. Dearborn is a city that is full of immigrants, and it is, we believe, a moral crisis to be terrorizing the people who live there by threatening them with deportation. This event was so well attended. We had Andy Levin, Debbie Dingle, Rashida Tlaib showed up and spoke, and there were signs. Everyone wore black. We sat down to represent like mourning, and then a few days later, like the mantle was picked up by a group of a Muslim student association from Wayne State University, and we won.
Wow.
Dearborn Police Department announced a few days later that they had ended their contract with ICE. They would no longer be detaining immigrants on their way to deportation. And the summer leading up to that was so full of like rapid response mobilization, spreading information, trying to protect our undocumented neighbors. And it just felt so huge to get a win in that way and to say like, we've built these long-term partnerships and these relationships, and then we actually like moved something really important. So that's a big one.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Great work. Yeah, it's really fantastic. Really, that's really moving to hear that kind of that kind of your work, being able to be a part of making that kind of an impact. So as you can tell, we're pumped about having you as one of our grantees. What has this grant from JLF made possible for you all?
So much. It's been so instrumental in our ability to build capacity and stay strong during a time of huge transition. So we haven't talked about this, but I'm new in this role. I came up in DJJ actually first as a volunteer, then as the staff organizer, and I just moved into this role of executive director in January. So
which again, Mazel tov.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So JLF funds have helped us to streamline and level up our hiring processes with an eye for racial equity and bias mitigation. So like in the ED search, we used a consultant to help us with that process. And then the learnings that we used, we were able to apply to our second hiring process that happened in February of hiring on a new organizer. So just like adding capacity and power to our processes as we've been in this huge transition and onboarding have been so amazing. JLF funds have helped us to invest in my personal growth as an executive. I've been doing lots of PD. I'm working with an executive coach, which has been such an incredible process for me and so helpful and bolstering. We've also used funds to invest in like all staff training. We're taking a training right now about how to subvert supremacist power and lift up liberatory power when you're working in a multiracial organization. And it's been such an incredible experience for us to like really like, I don't know what the word is, like blast open some really amazing, some amazing points of conversation and some amazing like dynamics that folks are like wanting to see, dreaming about in the work, and just really trying to like, I see it as such a healthy thing for our organizational culture. And then like, generally we've onboarded this new organizer and they're leading this amazing campaign. We're working on collecting signatures for a ballot initiative with the goal of changing the Michigan State Constitution to protect reproductive rights in the case that Roe v. Wade is overturned by the Supreme Court. So we have all of this capacity going towards this campaign, staff capacity who is really effectively organizing our volunteers, and we're really like making moves on this campaign, and JLF funds have made that possible as well. So those are the highlights, I would say, right now.
That's great to hear that we're able to make that kind of a difference and support you all and your organizational growth, your personal, professional growth, and hopefully in tallying a few more of those W's in the future in that city.
Yes, we need them.
So speaking of that city, if I am elected you in Detroit or just someone interested in following or supporting your work, where can I find you all?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook or Instagram. Instagram, we're at Detroit Jews for Justice, all one word. You can look us up on Facebook, Detroit Jews for Justice, and our website has tons of great information, and you can sign up to volunteer or to join a team or just to have a one-to-one with a staff organizer, our website is DetroitJewsForJustice.org.
Amazing. Well, that's all I have for today. It's a Thursday, so Thursday Shalom, and thank you so much for your time, Allie. It's been great getting to chat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.